Hi, Indivisibles. Welcome to the training to get ready to text for Connor Lamb, Democrat for Pennsylvania District 18 with Indivisibles. My name's Ella, and I'm going to be taking you through, so let's get started. In this training, we're going to learn a couple things really quickly. The first is about the race that's happening right now in Pennsylvania. The second is why we are texting. The third is how to text. The fourth is some FAQs, and then finally there's a quiz. If there's just one thing you do today from this training, I really recommend it's the quiz. You can skip to the end and test your knowledge on how to use our texting tool, which is called Hustle. For those of you who've never tried this before, if you want a refresher, if you're going, what is she talking about? Recommend you watch the whole video and we'll get you trained up. So first, let's talk about the race. So Representative Tim Murphy, who is representing District 18, is OUT out. We're happy about that. He was ultra-conservative, and he is no longer in office, so there's a special election on March 13th to replace him, and it's Democrat Connor Lamb versus Republican Rick Saccone, and it's neck and neck. So we really feel we have an opportunity to win this and flip this district, so we're really excited about that. Why is Indivisible getting involved in this particular race? Our theory of change is that if we take back power locally, we can have these electoral victories to stop Trump's regime. He's been authoritarian, he's been openly racist, and so we really want to stop that in its tracks. Saccone, the Republican candidate, is billing himself as Trump before Trump was Trump, so we really want to make sure he does not win here in Pennsylvania. And finally, it's an opportunity to show that we know how to get out there, mobilize our folks, organize, and win elections. So eyes are on us in this 2018 election before the 2018 and 2020 elections come when Congress is going to have a bunch of seats up for grabs. So this is our chance to show that we know how to win. This is Connor Lamb. He is a Democrat running for office here in the district, and he has some strong progressive positions on things like stopping the heroin crisis and creating jobs. So for more about him, we'll turn to our help desk materials soon. But for now, you should know he's Connor, and he's the person that we are supporting. Why are we texting? So first of all, it's how people communicate. I text, I'm sure you text. It's quick, 77 times faster than phone calls. It's 5.5 times more engaging than an email, and 100% more personal than a big text blast that would be the same message to hundreds or thousands of people at once. So we really want to reach people at scale in this district to win. And so we're going to be using a tool called Hustle. What's Hustle? It is a peer-to-peer texting platform. So what that means is sending individual texts between two people. So I individually would be texting somebody else from the voter file and moving on to another person and texting them. And you may have heard of Hustle from the Bernie Sanders campaign or other nonprofit advocacy groups that are using Hustle. So let's get into it. If you're new to Hustle, you're going to receive a text message from us with your personal sign-up token. You can go ahead and visit web.hustle.life/sign-up and enter that token, and that'll go ahead and verify your account. You can also download the Hustle app on your Apple or Android phone. It's free, but we recommend just starting using your computer, so your desktop or your laptop, because it'll be easier. So I'm going to go ahead and click on here. You can type it into your browser, and I recommend you do it along with the training so that you can sign up right now. So I've already signed up for Hustle, so this is going to bring me right in. I'm already logged in, and I'm going to see this button under To Do. It's going to be Begin Re-engaging Contacts. And so I'm going to click here, and I'm going to see our script. So you'll see that there's this pre-written script. You don't need to do anything to edit or change it, and this is going to be what we're telling folks. So we'll go ahead and continue. So here's my first contact. Here in the training it says John Test, but your first person will not be a test. This is going to be a real voter, and you're going to go ahead and hit send to text them. Boom, your message is sent. Good job. So the next thing we're going to do is just go through the rest of our list of contacts and continue to hit send until all of our invites are sent. Awesome. So now we message all of our contacts. You will have a list much bigger than mine, but this is just for the training purposes. So people are going to be responding to you over the next 24 hours, and some people will likely be responding right away. So soon we're going to turn to how to handle responses. So your replies would end up right up here under replies. Okay, so I've got some replies. I'm going to go ahead and click here in my workflows to begin sending replies. Awesome. So here's someone who has said yes, they plan to vote for Connor on March 13th. And so what we're going to do is send them a reply, and all the options over here live right in this little text bubble. So we're going to click on here, and so this person's a yes, and so we're going to do the yes reply, which is great. Glad he can count on your support. And then we're going to go ahead and click here and send. And if we want to edit this, we absolutely can. So if we don't have a straightforward yes, or we want to respond to a more detailed question, you can totally be human. This is not a robotic interaction, so you can type and edit here. If somebody had said no, or if they need more information, we have those as well, along with some custom replies. So there's really a lot of options here, and I would encourage you to look at what you have. So for instance, here's one for somebody who's going to be voting absentee right here, looking up your polling place, somebody that you need to send an apology to because they didn't want to receive a text, which we think is unlikely, but it may happen. Problems voting, and you can edit any of these yourself. So for this person who said yes, I'm going to use this reply, and I'm going to hit send. There's a couple other options that we have over here that I want to walk through. So if somebody's going to vote yes, we want to slide the RSVP marker to yes. So sorry, that's going to look like interested or not interested over here on the right. So if they were a no, I would mark not interested. But if they're a yes, they're going to be interested, and that's where this response came from. We can also add tags. So the script is going to ask them, would you like to be connected with a local Indivisible group to keep fighting for progressive values? And so we really want to collect good data here for people who want to get involved with Indivisible. So if they tell you they're already affiliated, you can mark is already affiliated. And then if you hear that they want more info, instead you would click want more info. And so then you can save, and then that person would be saved with these tags. There's a couple other things to go through. So say this person wants to be unsubscribed. We absolutely want to honor people who say, please don't text me. And so we want to do that right away and be courteous for them. And in addition, where there's a couple places where we can capture data about this right here under opt out. So if we're going to opt this person out, we're going to come here to the top right and click opt out. And if it's just a regular reason that's not one of these, then we can just go ahead and click continue. But there's 3 special cases where we want to be sure that we mark why. So say they're a Republican voter, they're going to vote for Saccone, we would mark that. If this person has moved, then we're going to want to mark that too, because they might have a new polling place and we want to have good data there. And then finally, if it's a wrong number and they tell you, sorry, this isn't who you think, we'll go ahead and click wrong number and then click continue to opt them out. I'm not going to do it right now because it's just an example. And then the last thing here is the local Indivisible group question. If folks want to get involved and want more info, we want to get their email so we can follow up. So I'm going to show you how we're doing that. It's a little bit of a do-it-yourself way because there isn't actually a place where email goes right here in Hustle. So here is our little workaround. We're going to go to edit profile for this person. And then under employer, we're going to go put their email. So I know this isn't the email field, but we're hoping you'll remember it as E for employer, E for email, and that way we can follow up with these folks. So that's everything you need to know in Hustle. Let's go through some FAQs. So let's talk about good data. We want to track voter responses like we said. Confirmed Connor voters are yeses and not voting, or if they're voting for Saccone, they're a no. We talked about unsubscribing already. Again, there's those 3 special cases where we want to make sure we mark why people don't want to be on the list. And why is it important to have good data? Well, this is really what helps us win. So we want to be able to turn out on election day everybody that we know is with us and we know is voting. And we don't want to waste our time, our limited resource, turning up people who aren't going to be with us or people that we don't have the correct info for. And so that's why good data is going to help us win this election. Finally, to wrap it up, your shift is going to be 2 hours. And at the end of your shift, you're going to confirm you've gotten to all of your replies. You can log off and give yourself a high five or a fist bump because you did it. The other thing is you're going to want to keep an eye on Hustle for the next 24 hours. So just like regular texting, people might take a little bit of time to get back to you. That's okay. We still want to make sure we capture those folks and get them out voting. So you can go ahead and check Hustle every couple hours, respond to people who've replied to you, and we can make sure we get those votes. And then if you can't commit to doing that, you should just let us know because we still want to get to those people. And you can email our support email, which is support@indivisible.freshdesk.com. You can pause the video here and write that down if you need to. Some FAQs. So you probably have questions. Let's dig in. When can I text? 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the law, and we really want to follow it. How long does the texting take? We anticipate that sending your initial text is going to take about an hour, and then the responses will come in over 24 hours. What about Sakone voters? What about people that aren't with us? We don't need to spend our time on these people. We can wish them a nice day. We can mark them as a no and move on. We're not going to get involved in any policy questions. If they want to talk about Trump or other candidates or issues, this is not the space for that. We want to turn out the people that we know are with us, and we don't want to use our precious time talking to people who aren't with us. So move on to the next person. That person's probably a yes. A couple things to be prepared for. What if we get a wrong number? It'll happen. We actually anticipate this will happen a fair amount because voter rolls aren't always updated. So you can remind that person to vote and go ahead and unsubscribe them using the wrong number we talked about. What about people calling you? So Hustle does have a function where people can give you a phone call. They won't see your real number, and you can answer, but you don't have to. So don't feel obligated, but if you want to have a conversation with somebody, you're absolutely welcome to. What if somebody's being rude? So this is unlikely, we haven't encountered it a lot, but if it happens, you can just unsubscribe them and move on. We don't need to engage with these folks, and there's no reason this needs to be hard for you as a volunteer. You're donating your time, so we don't need to engage with anyone who is harassing or saying mean things. And what about, how did you get my number? So this is something we anticipate will also happen. Don't worry. There's no need to identify yourself with your last name. You're certainly welcome to, but you can just say, I'm a volunteer with Indivisible. We got your number because you're a registered voter. And if you have any questions about this, there are all those scripts for you, and we have some really awesome help resources. So the big takeaway here is ask for help. Indivisibles are standing by, and we have a whole little Wikipedia-like resource for you as well. So our help desk has all the information you would need to know about all things for this election and texting. Is indivisible.freshdesk.com/support/home. You do need the whole link right there. So you can pause the video right now and bookmark it if you haven't already. And it's going to have info about how to respond to voter questions, Hustle instructions, more info about Connor and his positions like we talked about earlier, and everything that you could need in order to have a successful texting experience. So again, I encourage you to bookmark it now. The next resource available to you is support@indivisible.freshdesk.com. So we are there to help you. You should definitely email us, and we'll have volunteers on call from 11:30 to 4 to help answer your questions. So you're almost ready. Let's kick you off with 4 quick tips. I have 4 quick tips for you to help you have a really awesome texting experience that's the most successful to getting to win the election. The first is to send all your initial messages before you start replying. So just go ahead and click through send, send, send before you get kind of distracted by people replying that have questions, and just get them all out. The second is, like we talked about, keep your data squeaky clean. So make sure you're unsubscribing, make sure you're marking your responses correctly. And so we will have good data for turning out people on the 13th for the election. The third is be human. So we're not robots, we're voters too. We're volunteers who really care about progressive issues here in Pennsylvania. So if you want to change a script and have a one-on-one conversation, absolutely go for it. You know, we want to make one-on-one connections so that people will vote. And then finally, if somebody's not with us, move it right along. We don't have time for that. We're just going to turn out our folks, and you don't need to get bogged down with people who aren't going to vote with us. So it's time to go resist. It's exciting. Thank you so much for watching this training. And the last piece is a quiz. So if you're ready to resist, you can take this quiz before you start. It's at this link, bit.ly/PA18quiz. You can type that into your browser, and it will help you test your knowledge that you've learned in this video about how to text. And if you have any questions, remember, you can just watch the video again. It's a resource for you, as are our help resources. So good luck, happy texting, and let's win the election.